Hello, hello. It is day 34, and I'm feeling better today than I have done for many days, since Wednesday anyway. So I'm grateful. So, on this episode, expect it to be brief, expect some coughing, expect some background noise, and forgive the husky voice. So, I didn't actually think about the fact that doing this live stream would be a good way of answering a question that I get asked quite a lot. So, for many people who are looking to be consistently visible, maybe you're a founder of a company, maybe you work in kind of marketing, maybe you're like head of marketing, marketing director, and your expectation is not just for you, but for various people in your business or around your business to continue showing up, to continue being visible, to continue raising the profile of your company. What do you do? Now, there's two ways to slice and dice this. If you are said, I don't know, HR director, marketing director, founder, and you're looking at having people on your team continue to be visible, there's this track. This message is just for you. But also, if you are the business owner, the founder, the solopreneur, the person who does everything from the marketing to the accounts to the sales to the training to everything else, this is also for you too. Because what do you do when you're feeling under the weather? What do you do when you're not feeling well? So there's a couple of things, and this might not be what you expect me to say or what you're expecting to hear. There is a culture of pushing through. And I believe, and this can be nuanced on whatever illness the person has, but I believe that sometimes our body shows us through illness what we're supposed to do or not do. And I think in my case, over the last few days, even though I didn't feel like I was hustling or hurtling or, overdoing it in any particular way, sometimes our body wants us to break. And there's a couple of reasons why our body might feel that we need a break. It might be a stop, slow down, too much hustle, too much force. It might be a stop and pause. Is this really the direction that you want to go in with this particular project or these particular things? Or sometimes it's just a case of, you know, when's the last time you, the team, whoever else is working with you, business bestie, when's the last time you stopped, paused, and really thought deeply about what you're doing? So if this is why this can sometimes happen, this video, I guess, is the what you can do. So you might expect me to say things like, which I've said in the past, have a stack of content ready that you can always, either delegate to somebody else or schedule in advance or put out there for any time that you can't for whatever reason. It could be family commitments, it could be health, it could be wealth, it could be anything else in between. But actually, I want to talk on this video about the inner work of it all, the inner workings, if you think of it that way. So, on paper, I started to feel unwell on Wednesday. I had an inkling that it wasn't a push through and just do. So, number one, look at where you go to when you think something that you wanted to do that you've maybe planned for is about to happen. What do you do? Because therein lies the root of where to go next for you. I can tell you to do this thing, that thing, or the next thing, but actually, what needs to happen is you need to be clear on what to do for you, especially if you're doing it by yourself. Or making the decisions by yourself, and you need to be clear on what to do for your team, your people, your company ethos. So that's first and foremost. And I believe that having that strategy up front is a really great strategy. It means that when the what hits the fan, you don't have to scramble around and think about what to do. So then the next thing that happened was, as I personally went through this journey and started to feel really unwell, and, don't get me wrong, there are people in the world that are going through devastating illnesses, devastating events, far worse than a virally coughy, cold thing that I seem to have, which gives me a husky voice. So the next thing to think about is how the circumstances, or in this case, an illness, is affecting you. I honestly thought I've got a lot of different things going on at the moment. It's not that I don't have time to breathe, but in some respects, my body, my psyche was saying, you need to slow down and think about these things. You've got these significant things that are on your plate. And yes, you're okay to keep going and do what you need to do, but have a look at what's going on around you, because is this a sign? Is this a indication, I would say, that there's something that you need to pay attention to? So that was the next thing. So as I began to feel really unwell, and I'm gutted because this week has been my birthday week. I had celebrations planned, and basically everything that I had planned to spending time with one of my dearest, longest, closest friends, to just things like going out and celebrating the day, probably eating and drinking things that maybe don't do me good anyway. But all of those were just cancelled. They were just cancelled. So this, I think, had a knock-on effect. What with everything else that's going on and not feeling well has a knock-on effect on how we think. And I had a conversation with one of my friends on Wednesday. I had another conversation with one on Tuesday before I started to feel unwell. One of the things that I noticed after that conversation was how much more into moaning and whinging I felt. And that's not usually where I go to. I'm like the queen of the reframe. If something isn't kind of doing what it needs to do, I'm very good at being able to reframe it and look at things differently. But even in a couple of my interactions, I noticed they were more glass, well, not even half empty, glasses smashed and empty and woe and all of that kind of stuff. What that actually led me to think about is when we're not feeling well, when we're under the cosh, when we're stressed, when we feel like we've got a lot on top of us. I know that in my everyday interactions, be it with clients, be it with potential clients, be it with companies, be it with people that have got a lot on their plates too, that there's various different conversations that go on. And one of the things that we seem to be really bad at doing when we're in it is to at least notice that we're in it, catch ourselves in it, and rather than try and spring out of whatever we're going through, whatever we're thinking, look at another way to operate just for now. This is something I talk about a lot in the Superhuman program, and depending which track you're on, whether it's a senior leadership track, a help them in a stressful job track, or whether it's a kind of customer service type, we want to do better and build on our values as a company and as a business, as an organisation track. This thing is really important. And it simply boils down to the brain food that we fill ourselves with. Now, as you can clearly see behind me, I'm watching the Parisian Agency because today I'm not in a good headspace to be able to work. But one of the things I've been doing over the last few days is filling my head with brain food. If not, I could sit and watch TV, I could sit and watch the news, I could sit and take in all the things that actually comfort whatever negativity is going on within me already. Not feeling well, and feeling a bit worries me. It's quite easy to stack the cool on what doesn't feel great. So here's something that I would invite you to do. Even if you are feeling brilliant, you don't get ill, you don't have accidents or anything else like that. There's been a lot around me in the last couple of months of people that have had accidents and damaged limbs. Someone that had a car accident just very recently, who's spoken about it. Just lots of things kind of not going to plan. And if failing to plan is planning to fail, then why don't we get used to filling ourselves up with good brain food before we even need it, so that when it comes to a point that we need to kind of bolster ourselves, that we can lean back on those resources. So today in this video, I simply invite you to think about brain food. Now, this could be music, this could be physical food, depending on where you're at. This could be things that you like to read, things that you like to do, activities that you like to take part in. And if you're too unwell to take part in that activity, then maybe it's something that you can watch and just remind your brain that it's something you love to do. So that's what I invite you to do today. Thank you so much. If you're watching this on LinkedIn and thinking, but what's this got to do with business? If you are a senior leader in business, i.e. at director level or head off level, you might not be feeling this, but a lot of your staff do. I know this because I speak to them on a regular basis. People come to me and say they love what I do. They wish I could come into their organisation, but they don't think their organisation will be open to it. Some go as far as to say they know they won't be open to it. They don't care about their people. They just care about A, B, and C. And when I speak to the heads of those organisations, that's normally not true. So there's a mismatch. So care more about your people, care more about what's going on for them in their lives, and do whatever it takes to have them be heard. So it's not just a well-being exercise to tick a box to make sure they're okay. And for those of you that are doing it by yourselves and spinning lots of plates, you're probably in one of the positions where you pay attention to yourself last. You're probably paying attention to your family, to your business, to your book, to your gigs, to your work, but not paying enough attention to you. So brain food for you too. That's it. See you tomorrow. This is day 34. Bye for now.